Welcome to Hy-Vee Today with Tony Tone. We're live inside Muscatine HyVee on 2nd Avenue in Muscatine, streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Now, here's Tony Tone.
Hello, friends. Welcome back. It's Hy-Vee Today. This is Tony Tone, Monday, June 29th, running out of days for the month of June. Another month that has gone by really fast. I don't know if you've had the same experience, but there's so much going on this week. It is packed to the gills. High school graduation is happening for Muscatine on Thursday, July 2nd. That's the plan. We surprised a high school graduate on Friday, Brianna Dinnan, who was a senior at Rock Ridge High School as part of Hy-Vee as a company recognizing the class of 2020. So we coordinated with Brianna's mom and headed over to Illinois City to pull off the surprise. The best part is when I called Brianna's mom, I was like, hey, is she going to be home today? And she's like, hold on, let me find out. Are you going to be home? I'm like, wait, don't give up the surprise. Like, don't make it obvious. And it wasn't. It was great. So we took care of her. You can see there's a mini fridge. There was a nice basket full of stuff, balloons, flowers, and, of course, one of those 12-inch decorated cookies. So, and she didn't have a mini fridge yet, and she is going away to school. So that's, like, perfect. That's one of those things you don't have to buy. Like, I remember, I don't know where she's going. I don't remember. Scott Dahlke putting me on the spot. I don't know. She's going to Stanford. I don't know where she's going, but she's very nice. And I just was thinking about when I, went to freshman year at St. Ambrose, and I had a mini fridge, and I had one of the first flat screen TVs. I mean, it was still wide in the back. But I remember when I carried it into my dorm room freshman year, and my roommate, Justin, who is from Andrew, Iowa, was like, oh, I brought a TV. And God bless him, it was like a 13-inch color TV. And I was like, I got a 27-inch flat screen that I paid for with graduation money. Yeah. And now we listen, 4th of July week. And did I spend the store's money on inflatables like Uncle Sam riding a firework? I did because Hy-Vee store director Matt Schweitzer and store manager Chad Adams said, make this place feel like the 4th. So there you go. And you can even see the other one in the background right out there, right? So we've got Uncle Sam with us in the Market Grill Express this morning. And then out in the produce case, there is a USA, and at the very top, there is a bald eagle, a real bald eagle that we have named Jeff, and he's going to live in the store. So that's that's happening. So I had all this stuff shipped to my house. And my kids were like, oh, is that for here? And I was like, no. My 5-year-old was like, can you inflate the one? And I was like, I don't want to. And then he opened the box, so we did. But now it's here, so that's good. It made it here. Real quick, 4th of July week, local ad for us just talks about the fact that we're open 4th of July, not closed, right? Open for business, ready to go all week, really. But certainly into the 4th, we're going to be ready to take care of you. If you need anything, whether it's here or at Hy-Vee Main Street, from the deli to the bakery to floral to food service, if you want to just pick up a party tray, pass it off as your own, that's fine. Ton of red, white, and blue stuff, and even some deals throughout the store as well. So that's exciting. 4th of July week, a hot week, humid. Seems like the heat index this weekend, it might even feel like over 100. So get ready for that. And don't be the person this week that's like, because this is my mom. My mom is like, she's got her air set at, you can't even really call it air because her house is at like 79. And then she comes to my house where it's set at 70, and she's like, it's so cold. It's so cold here. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? I pay the bill, and if I want to be cold in my own house, I'm going to be cold in my own house. This isn't back in the day where there's not air conditioning. I'm cranking it up. And by the way, my old house didn't have central air, so now it's like, I'm like a kid. I'm like, oh, I can just keep, now I don't go too low. I'm not going to like 40 degrees. But listen, you got blankets for a reason, right? So don't be the stubborn person. Turn your air on. It's okay if you have the luxury of doing it. The last thing I'll say before we get to our guests, because I want to start talking to Scott, is Make My Monday today, 10% off everything in the bakery. So you come in the store, grab a cart. We've got a bag ready to go. Fill the paper bag with baked goods, 10% off, whether it's donuts, buns, angel food cake, everything from the bakery is 10% off. We haven't done this before, so this is a new offer. And it's today only. Now, again, the good news for me as a Hy-Vee employee, every day I get a 10% discount. And then this week, the company said all Hy-Vee employees, 20% discount. So thank you Hy-Vee for taking care of us. I will get a whole bunch of bakery stuff today, apparently. All right, let's start talking to our friend Scott Dahlke, the executive director with Muscatine Center for Social Action, MCSA. And obviously, fireworks are going to be on the agenda, but we can talk about other things as well. It's great to see you.
Tony, you're the man. It's good to see you. I didn't bring any gifts today. Sorry.
That's fine. We don't need, you know what's so funny is I just last week took that roll of toilet paper that you brought me out of my desk drawer. And somebody was like, where did that come from? And I was like, well, Scott from MCSA gave it to me. And they looked at me like I was telling the worst lie ever. They were like, wait a minute. The guy from MCSA gave you toilet paper? And I was like, I realize how that sounds. But I want you to know I did not steal a roll of toilet paper from the store.
No, I had to buy RV toilet paper because at the time everything was running out. How far have we come? Like, that seems like a decade ago, doesn't it?
Do you feel like you've aged? I feel like I've aged 5 years. And
It's been tough. Like March was the longest month ever.
Absolutely.
I believe we started closing things down and making things as safe as we could in March, and those were hard decisions. I remember sitting in the dining room where we have a food pantry, and we had shut down the lunch program.
Sure.
And we had a little lady that came in, quiet, shy, came in like walking in circles, and Nora, our food manager, kind of asked her, "It's like, are you here for the lunch program?" And she said, yeah, and Nora let her know that we weren't doing it, and she just walked away. She didn't pitch a fit or anything, but as she was walking away, I looked at her, and she was crying. God, it just broke my heart so bad. So, that weighs on you, so that's tough, right?
Oh, yeah.
But now that we're opening back up and everything's opening back up, those decisions are equally as hard. Like, how much risk is okay to take, and so it's just a lot of decision making, a lot of getting input from the community, different people, and even opening up the fireworks tent has been, a difficult decision. Like, how do we do that as safe as we possibly can?
Well, and I feel like it already would have been a busy year for everybody with MCSA. I mean, just with the New Beginnings fundraiser for the domestic violence shelter in April and all the work that goes into that, in addition to everything else that's going on. But then you knew, I mean, did it seem like at any time the fireworks tent wouldn't happen?
There was times there where we were really on the fence whether the government would let us open up something like that, whether we had the capacity with all of the Corona stuff happening, all the preparations for the protests, and just there was a lot of times that it was on the chopping block, and we weren't sure what would happen. But the money we raised from that is critical because it's not designated for any one program.
Sure.
So we kind of spread it out to all the programs or the program that needs it the most. So it's kind of an amazing task. I think, honestly, the special part of the fireworks tent for me is the volunteers that come.
Yep.
I just have a huge heart for volunteering and donating. I mean, that's your hard-earned money. That's your hard-earned sweat equity.
Yeah.
And you're willing to give it for a greater cause. So it's just a really easy opportunity for people to be part of the MCSA story and feel like they're giving back to the community, because they are. I mean, this is a large undertaking. We raise a platoon, an army. There's 109 volunteers last year,
moly.
99 volunteers the year before that. So you're raising a lot of people to help with this undertaking, and it just touches me. Last year, I mean, thankfully, our tent is still standing right now.
Right, last year got knocked down.
It got knocked down, and we had to raise even more people to get it back up and get it stocked full of goods. But it's just an opportunity. We learn in the retail world.
Sure.
And thankfully to you and Chad and Matt here at the store, giving me a lot of input on how to operate a retail business.
Well, and it's just so fascinating. And again, for people that are watching, there's a lot of fireworks tents. I get it. But there's not another firework. You might be one of one as far as a fireworks tent.
I haven't heard of any other tents in town.
Staffed by volunteers. No way in town, period. If you're watching and if you're in Muscatine County, none of the fireworks tents besides this one for MCSA are staffed by volunteers, and nowhere else can you buy a firework, whatever it is, however big it is. I think somebody in my neighborhood lit this off on Saturday night. Whoo, it was loud. Every purchase you make, a portion of whatever you buy goes to MCSA. Nobody else can say that. And here's the thing. If you're going to buy fireworks, and it seems like, Scott, this year maybe more than ever, given that everything is canceled and shut down, and I understand you already had to get like another semi.
We had to bring another semi because Marie Frankie, who's running that tent for us, she runs all of our fundraisers and kind of coordinates all those fundraisers. She's been very adamant with our supplier that we need to have the right stock out there for you guys. Yep. You know, we got a lot of grandpas that want to come and put a fireworks display on for their kids. Yep. A lot of homeowner associations that want to put one on for the homeowner association. And honestly, that's the right way to do it. Bring your neighbors into this, you know. That way they're not frustrated with it, you know. Make them part of the decision making. I also like to point out that even though it's a fundraiser, people think, well, they're going to be gouged because it's a fundraiser.
No way.
No way. We went with the supplier that we thought had the best deals for our community. So there's a lot of buy one get three frees out there. Last year we did a little fireworks event in my neighborhood for some kiddos and whatnot, and we did everything that was buy one get three free.
Isn't that cool?
And they were all amazing. Yeah. Like the Lady Liberties and the 1776s. Yeah. He's got them right there. They're actually big. I think they call them a cake.
They're super cool.
But they shoot up really high, and they got really great colors, and it's a great effect. So it's a great deal. The buy one get three frees. And then I brought some of this. I brought this little tank here.
I love it. Listen, these things. I don't know why. The little tank. I'm here to tell you, a little bit of a surprise when you light it.
That's how big it is. I got my hand behind it.
But it does pack a little bit of a punch. And if it's on a flat surface, it will drive a little, and then it'll have a little I mean, it's a quick, you're not thinking, you're thinking, oh, it looks cute. And I'm not here to tell you that it's like, I mean, it's certainly not like the Killer Kong, but I was pleasantly surprised with the little tanks.
Yeah,
but like this 1776, as Scott was saying, this is buy one at $21.95, and you get three free. So for $21.95, you're getting all of this.
And that's a fireworks show all in itself. You could call that quits if you wanted to.
Yeah.
But for $20, you can call it quits. My kid's friends, his swim team, they came over, they saw it, and we had some big ones that didn't even compare to the 1776.
Isn't that awesome?
So those are a great buy. I don't expect that they'll last very long.
Sure.
We usually sell out of those fast. We actually sell out of the really expensive ones too. So you got that big guy behind us.
Yeah, it's stretching the limit.
Yeah, and then we have weapons of warfare. It's probably our most expensive fireworks. Those sell out pretty quickly as well.
It's just fascinating to me, the stretching the limit. And, you know, we're talking about a 130 shot firework that is $94. So just keep that in mind. And to Scott's point, not trying to price gouge. But I just also feel like the selection is good. I'm here to tell you it's probably the biggest tent.
I think it's the biggest tent.
And it's got something for everybody. So like Scott was saying, if you're just going to do something in the driveway with the kids, grandkids, maybe you're more after like the tanks, snakes, whatever. But if you are going to do something in the neighborhood and you've got the space to do, I'm telling you, I mean, in my neighborhood Saturday, and then right at 10 o'clock it stopped. So whoever was doing it, not that you're supposed to light them off, it's illegal until this Friday and Saturday, but whomever was doing it Saturday must have looked at a watch and gone, oh, all right, this is it. This is the last one.
Also, get the poppers.
Yeah,
when I was a little kid,
awesome.
They used to sell those at the corner store.
Yep.
And, you know, I would get 50 cents for doing whatever, and I'd run to the corner store, pick up some poppers, and I would throw them at my little brother, and he would jump, and I just got the biggest kick out of it. I would giggle, and so last year, I made sure I got some poppers, and I brought them on our family reunion camping trip.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I gave them to all the kids, and they were annoying us all night with them. But it was good, clean fun, and you know, I really enjoyed it. But so I want you to know you're getting deals.
Yep.
There's really interesting variety out there. It's not that you're getting gouged because it's going to a nonprofit, but it's a greater cause. And we talk about superficial things like fireworks.
Sure.
But the real work at MCSA is ending homelessness. That's serious, guys. You know, it's also taking care of people that are taking care of women that have been abused and are trying to flee for their safety. It's feeding people that are hungry. This is serious work. This is all fun.
Sure.
Shooting up fireworks, and it's a great way to support these causes. And I just want everybody to know that it's serious business, and we take that responsibility to our hearts. I was on a meeting the other day, and I was listening to Nicole Sorgenfrey from United Way talk, and we're delivering bags of groceries right now for our food pantry because of COVID, and she's been part of delivering those foods, and she's going to these houses and delivering stuff and putting it on doorstops, and she was kind of surprised and taken aback by some of the situations, some of the conditions that people are living in.
Sure.
And And we don't get to see that. Not everybody gets to see that every day, you know. They don't think that stuff exists in America. You know, we're a developed country. You know, that happens in third world countries, but it does happen. The situations are bleak out there for some people, and we need to do our part. We all need to do our parts to make people's lives better. I was watching the interviews for the Muscatine city administrator.
Sure. And
I was kind of not shocked, I guess, just a moment of realization that there's so many people working to make our community better. And that's what all these interviewees were trying to point out, is that we can make our community better. And meeting people like Tony and Chad back there, they're all trying to make our community better. And that's what MCSA is trying to do when they're trying to end homelessness. You know, let's give people a chance, you know. We want people from middle class to rise up. We want people from lower class to rise up. And that's what we're trying to do, is give people an opportunity. There's education and personal responsibility with everything we do. We push, we pull, we fight hard to give everybody the best opportunity they can, while still making them responsible for their situations and themselves.
And that's what's so important, I think, when you talk about the variety of services at MCSA. Unfortunately, a lot of them being impacted by the pandemic, which is really too bad, because you are able to do so much in a non-pandemic. MCSA is a busy place by all accounts. There's always something going on all the different levels, and people are truly taking advantage of that resource. Pandemic comes around, you have to scale things back, of course, to keep people safe, but that doesn't mean that there's not the need out there.
Yeah.
But then I do think that, because something that, you know, I think about all the time when we're appealing for people to support MCSA, to support the domestic violence shelter, is that you're not a permanent solution. And you just said it. You want to be able to help people, meet them where they're at, and then connect them, get them the resources they need so that they're on their own and they're self-sufficient. And I think that sometimes can be a tough story to tell, or that people will just hear, well, what's really happening at MCSA or this domestic violence shelter? They're just staying there forever, and the answer is no. You want to be able to get somebody, you're meeting them maybe in a crisis, so yeah, it might take 30 days to help them.
And that's why I'm at MCSA, because I believe in what we're doing. If we were just throwing water on the fire and not getting to the coals and not getting to the source of the fire, I couldn't be part of MCSA. But the fact that we're trying to get to the root cause makes me so impressed. Like with the food pantry stuff, a lot of people don't know, my dad was in law enforcement, and my sister had cancer and she was supposed to die, and we had to get experimental medication that the insurance wouldn't pay for. And because of that, my dad couldn't really afford food, and he couldn't afford to heat the whole house. So we would put blankets up on the rooms, and we all lived in the living room, and he had to go to food pantries. So that's what we're here for. But then there's the people that keep coming back, you know? And for that, we want to add a social work component to the food pantry to investigate those families, not in an intrusive way, but hey, is there something we can do that would make it so you don't need to come out and sit in a food pantry line? What's the issue? Can we help you get more income? Can we help you apply for benefits? Because that's the root of what MCSA does. We don't just throw water on a fire. We get to the root of the issue and find a solution for that. So that's why I'm really impressed with MCSA, and I want to continue to be part of that mission, because we're not just doing one thing. We're going to follow that to the end, and that's really difficult. Like, we can sit in our chairs and our recliners at home and say, "Get them, Scott," but it's difficult. There's all sorts of barriers people are facing. The biggest one, I think, is learned helplessness. You know, if you've grown up in poverty and that's all you've ever seen, we've just learned to be helpless, and they don't believe in themselves. There's no self-confidence, and trying to motivate them through that, it's harder than one would think. You know, anybody who's tried to go on a diet, you know, anybody who's tried to quit smoking, these are hard tasks themselves. Now, you know, change entire generations of lifestyles. It's incredibly difficult, but it's a task that MCSA has taken on. The team there is super amazing. One of the biggest things I want to pump today is our domestic violence shelter. We had to cancel the dinner, the fundraising dinner. There's three parts to the domestic violence shelter's funding. One comes from United Way. Thank you, United Way. One comes from the New Beginnings fundraiser that raises roughly $70,000, and the third is a deficit. And so with that New Beginnings fundraiser being canceled, it puts that program very much at risk. And I can't think of a more life-saving, very, very clearly life-saving program than that domestic violence shelter. I mean, these women are being abused. these men who are abusing these women have already proven that they're willing to get physically violent. What is the next step? And if these women who are being abused have to leave Muscatine, they have to give up their jobs. They have to take their kids out of their schools. If they take their kids, they have to leave their medical doctor. Everything. So they're less likely to find that safety if they have to go to another community. Davenport being the only one in our region besides MCSA that provides that service.
Isn't that wild? It's just wild to me because I think, again, it's really tough to talk about this for people that maybe don't think it's going on, but it is. And the shelter 5 or 6 years ago, they thought they were done for, and then MCSA, swooped in and brought it under their wing, and now it's at another crisis. And the reality is, and there was a great story on, I think it was Channel 4 WHBF, where they talked to, confidentially, they talked to someone that's benefited from the shelter in our town. We're sitting in Muscatine right now. We're not that far, because I know where it's at. It's a confidential location for the shelter, which is very much a home. We're not that far from where it's at. And it's being utilized. And yeah, to your point, Scott, again, just like with MCSA, meeting people where they're at and then getting them connected in the resources, same thing at the shelter, for sure. It's yes, they're coming in a crisis, but we're going to help you. We're going to get you on your feet. We're going to connect the dots, help you find a job. So many good ways to navigate for people.
So when they leave that shelter, the entire team, we have a team that a multidisciplinary team that staffs those cases. And when they leave that shelter, we feel confident that they have the ability to carry on life without assistance and to be safe. And Chad's listened to interviews with survivors. We were trying to put on a video for the fundraiser night, and you listen to some of the stories that she tells about giving her kids cream, half and half the coffee cream, because she didn't have milk, and going into restaurants and getting them sugar packets because she didn't have food, and going down to the riverfront to give them showers. But meanwhile, they're living in a car in an alley because she just doesn't feel safe. Until she learned about the domestic violence shelter, where she could come in and get all those stuff in one place. It's just, it tears on your heart. And during COVID, when everybody was furloughed and the stress levels are higher, the need for a domestic violence shelter seems to have increased.
Which is unfortunate, but it makes sense if you can't get away. And even if the getting away was being out of the house while, the abuser was at work or whatever the case may be, there's probably more time to not be home. But then you're right, during a pandemic, that shifts.
And we're seeing reports coming out of the World Health Organization right now in Europe that they've seen an incredible increase in domestic abuse. So we're preparing for that. We have seen some increase, not notable yet, but again, Europe was a couple months ahead of us when it came to the pandemic. So we might be seeing those residuals. So the needs increased, but our ability to fundraise has decreased. So
it's such a, again, it's like nobody should be excited about. It's been a tough last couple of months, but when you really look at a place like MCSA, you think about, wow. So if you're watching and you're like, what can I do? This is terrible. I can't let this happen. There's so many ways that you can give of your time, resources, monetarily, if you're able to. Sometimes if you can't do any of that, you can share something on social media that can get in front of more people. But, I'm here to tell you, you talk about dollar for dollar accountability,
we can get your
make
dollars
great
matched.
Use. You can match it, right?
You can
match
get your
the
dollars matched by a number of different funders who they want to see the community participate in this kind of stuff, because being part of the community is why we exist. That's the only reason why MCSA exists, and it's one of the reasons why we have such a cool town. We're invested in this town. We're invested in making our community better. There's a number of different ways that we're trying to do that. But if you're so inclined, honestly, we're going to get your dollar matched. Please donate. You can go on our website, www.mcsa.org, or you can go to Facebook and click donate. You can just write a check and send it to there. If you want to come down and get a better look at what we're doing, my staff are always willing to give tours, and we got the tours. I don't know if you've ever been on one, but they're
not officially.
We have little stats built into the tours, and we have the philosophy behind why we do every single little thing. So they're interesting tours, and you see Maslow's theory of hierarchy, the pyramid of basic needs, and how we're trying to start with the foundation of basic needs and then climbing up to people being able to reach their full potential. So I encourage everybody to come on down, send us a check.
Yeah.
We'll take it.
Please, bag of gold coins if you have it. But no, I mean, and then I think about my friend Tara on Facebook comment that says the MCSA and the DV shelter provide so much to our community. Thank you for all you do, Scott and crew. Tara's daughter, Tara's daughter, Lily, for her birthday, said, let's get some supplies. And she brought it to the shelter. And it was a room full of stuff. And it's like, that's what we need. We need people like Tara and just like, Scott. I mean, Scott, obviously your kids are well aware of what you do. But I think about like my kids and they're probably spoiled. And they need to start understanding like, hey, maybe for your birthday this year, you can pay it forward. I mean, look at that picture. That's one person.
There you go.
That's what I'm saying. Now, certainly there were people, friends, family that, that supported Lily. Shout out to Lily. But I'm saying that's one person. That's a young person. That's a future leader. And we need them now more than ever to understand that. Look at that gesture.
That's kind of how you need to look at these things. Instead of, and my kid, he might have turned out to be judgmental. He might have turned out to be angry at some of these situations. But he comes to the shelter, he helps clean the floors, and he volunteers, and he helps. And my wife has been coming down to the food pantry and helping. And so now the questions are different. When he goes around and he sees somebody talking to me, and maybe he'll see somebody trying to argue with me. His questions aren't based out of judgmentalness or anger or prejudice. His questions are now based out of love.
Sure.
And he's not dumb. He's actually in the gifted and talented. That's one brag I got. He's an annoying little brat, and I
love it.
I love him. But anyways, he's now asking, what does that person need, Dad?
Sure.
Instead of, why is that person yelling at you?
Right.
It's now more, what does that person need? And I think if we all just had a more open mind about those things, then we could look at situations a lot differently. And it doesn't mean that you're more left or more right on the political spectrum. It just means that you're looking with your eyes wide open.
Well, and there's something to be said about just being empathetic. I mean, empathy knows no political party, right? You can understand that people that are finding themselves in challenging situations don't oftentimes want to be there, right? I mean, you probably don't encounter that much.
I haven't met any one person in poverty that's happy to be there.
Right. So
one.
What can we do to lift them up? Because it'll just make our whole community better. So if it's in the next couple of days buying a Killer Kong or the 1776, because with every dollar I spent, X amount's going to help out MCSA. That's fantastic. And I said this right when the tent opened. I said, if you're anti-fireworks and you want to say, Scott, could I write you a check for $50,000? Could you close the fireworks tent? You'd probably say,
tent's closed.
There you go.
Let's go, baby. Let's go.
So wherever you find yourself, just know that the need not only exists, it's greater than it has been. Not that you're not busy. I don't mean that, because certainly you're still sitting here in a non-pandemic. You still have a fireworks tent. There's still needs to address, but we find ourselves, things are just a little bit more tighter now. So what can we do? It's got to be the appeal to the folks that are watching that have maybe never been involved, but they're like, you know what, this is the year.
It's such a simple way to be involved and support us. If you don't want to send us a check or donate on any of the online areas, come buy a firework.
Yeah.
It's going to a good cause. We're taking care of homelessness. We're taking care of people in abusive situations. We are feeding people, and we're trying to get to the root cause of why these things are happening. And I think it's also, like I've said before, it's one of the key points of our community. Of all the people we serve, only 20% return.
Wow.
People often focus on that 20%, and we are obviously very focused on that 20%. It's one of the reasons why we brought mental health services, professional mental health services, into our building and into our paradigm. But 80% of those are like my dad, who fell on a hard time because of whatever was going on, and are getting back out into the community, and going to work at Han, and going to work at GPC, going to work at Hy-Vee, contributing to our community. And what else can we do for our community and for the people we're serving at MCSA? A lot of times when we put people out in housing, there's some apartments that are run down and maybe shouldn't be passing an inspection, but we have to put them there because we have a lack of housing stock. So one of the things I'm very focused on is what can I do to improve, A, the quality of housing stock, and B, the quantity of the housing stock. So when we drive around Muscatine, we don't see those kind of buildings. Maybe MCSA can come in and rehab those buildings and make them the model of the community rather than the dump of the community.
Sure.
So that's again a very visible way of how we can affect the community and how you can be part of our mission to support our community.
Yeah, 80% of people through MCSA's doors are better after and not coming back. So that's a heck of a stat, right? That's not 50-50, that's not 60-40, that's not 70-30, that's 80-20, and probably, you know, heading towards 85. You know what I mean? Like, that's the goal ultimately, is to be at 100% of people that are at MCSA now will be on their way.
There's times with that 20%, we're trying to figure out how far we can move that bar.
Sure.
You know, there's people that have some chronic conditions.
Sure.
You know, there's some things that, like diabetes, you're going to live with that all your life.
Right.
When it's a mental health concern, you're going to live with that all your life. You know, what's the best possible way to treat those people? And so that's what we look at sometimes with that 20%. Can we get it down to 10?
Yeah.
I'm going to say I believe it because I'm naive. I think we can change the world. But
sure.
That's what we're fighting for.
Wouldn't you rather be optimistic than pessimistic now more than ever?
Absolutely.
Now more than ever.
Absolutely. I don't know how those pessimistic people make it. I would go much greater, much faster.
I was going to say, I can't do it either. All right, so if you're watching, listen, the tent. Brad, can we show everybody the tent outside? I just want to drive it home. This is June 29th, 4th of July is Saturday, which is another thing that's tough about this year. All the big holidays and my birthday on a Saturday, right? I mean, it's like, come on, pandemic. Like,
when's your birthday?
September 5th, which is a Saturday.
I was gonna say I can't.
Yeah, I know, but it snowed on the snow on Halloween should have been the tell that this is going to be a different year. You know what I mean? It snowed on Halloween.
That should have been the tell. You are absolutely
that should have been the
right.
tell, right? Like, we should have known back then. Like, wait a minute, this doesn't seem right. All right, so
there's the gorilla in the background too.
That tent, MCSA fireworks tent, right now. Scott, there's volunteers running it right now, this very moment.
Right now, you can come meet some people who just love our community and want to be part of it. There's also going to be some companies that are sending some staff over, so you can find out what companies those are. Bear's always been very much a part of it. I know Toyota's been very much a part of it. The college has been a big part of what we're doing as well. So look at all that stuff and how much work went into doing that. I just think it's incredible. And I know fireworks are controversial, and I want you to make your neighbors happy. I want you to make your communities happy, and I'm not encouraging you to do anything illegal at all. Follow the rules. We hand out the rules every time we hand out a firework. So do it safely, do it smartly, and don't judge MCSA because we're part of the fireworks.
Yes, exactly.
It was an opportunity brought to us by Hy-Vee.
Sure.
Saying here's what's happening. This guy's contacted us. He wants to sell fireworks. We just want it to be able to benefit the community somehow. And so he brought us on board, and it's kind of been a labor of love ever since.
And again, the good news seems to be that the sales are up in the tent, which means the amount that MCSA receives should increase. And this is the 4th year, and coming into this, it was, what is it, like almost $50,000?
We average about between 15 and 17 per year.
Wow, that's unbelievable. So if you're watching, just keep that in mind. Fireworks tent open till July 5th, is that correct?
Open until July 5th, yes.
Okay.
That morning
Sunday.
of the 5th, we're going to load it back up into the truck.
Or not. I mean, maybe ittle be sold out. Wouldn't that be a good problem?
Let us pray and
work.
hope. Also, we have all registers up. We have 4 registers up and operating right now. So
that's wild.
Last year I saw that we were getting some lines happening. So I asked the company, I was like, you got to give us more registers.
Yep.
And so then I talked to the staff last week. I said, let's get every single one of them open and operating so we can do everything we can to get no lines, no waiting.
Yeah.
I used to work in retail when I was a young
so you
whippersnapper. So I get, and honestly, I'm a community member too. So I've had to stand in lines before, and that's no fun. So we're trying to do everything we can to give you the best experience possible. And they're great deals. They're not
fantastic.
It's not that we're gouging your pockets because of all that. They're great deals.
All right. Before I let you go, I want you to do the Toyota Muscatine. What's in the box?
What's in the box? What do we do?
So have you not done this?
No.
All right, Scott Dahlke. So here's your mission if you choose to accept it, which you don't have a choice, unfortunately.
I am.
Let's just hope that there's not. So the other day they had pudding in there, and I put my thumb in pudding.
you said you made it.
This is your mission if you choose to accept it. So you're going to go both hands in the box. You're going to close your eyes. The first thing you're going to do is push forward on those doors to open them. So we'll be able to see what you're trying to guess, but you're supposed to have your eyes closed right now. All right, there you go. Eyes closed. Push those doors open. There we go. Toyota Muscatine, what's in the box? Oh, man, this could be tough. Now, listen, I can give you a hint if you like. I will say, now the hint that I give will probably give it away, won't it? So on the calendar, we look at what today's national insert the blank day is. And today's insert the day is a kitchen appliance that you may or may not have.
Dishwasher detergent.
That's a good guess. I'm going to give you a little clue. So today's national day is something you could use to make breakfast. Specifically something you would use, you'd put syrup on top of this.
Pancake mix.
Is that good? Is that close? All right, let's see what it is. It's close enough. I believe it's a waffle mix. Is that right? There you go. Pancake and waffle mix. It's National Waffle Iron Day.
Without the hint, I never would have been able to get that.
Right, that's tough.
I was thinking...
is there something else in there, too? Oh, but we have a waffle iron, yeah. Look at that. I feel like we should give this to Scott. All guests on the Hy-Vee Today Show
walk away with a
Chef
gift.
Man waffle iron. So there you go. Are you a waffle guy? You like waffles?
Absolutely. Who doesn't like waffles?
Yeah. I just don't know if I would ever... And by the way, Chef Man, is that the name of the company, really? What about Chef Woman? Like, why is it got to be Chef Man?
Oh, there you go, Tony.
That's very controversial. So here's a waffle maker. I like breakfast, but I don't know if I could justify. Now, if you're watching, please come and buy this. But I don't know.
Tony.
I don't know.
You know
For
what?
me,
it's a lot cleaner than the ones at those hotels.
that is a good point.
Yeah.
I think I'm just more of a pancake guy.
They always attract my kids, and I'm always like...
Every time you use a waffle iron, you're like, I don't know if I'm doing this right. And then you have to like turn it awkwardly, and you're like, But this is it. National Waffle Iron.
That does not support
Day.
MCSA though, but
the fireworks do. Listen, the carousel fountain. I want people to understand this is a spinning ball of fire, and it could be yours if the price is right. And the price on that is only $14.99 for these fireworks. The prices are great, and every purchase
stimulus checks. That's another cool story.
Yeah,
people have been sending their stimulus checks to us.
That's unbelievable.
We've gotten so many little one-time payments for people that haven't been in our system before. Honestly, that'll warm my heart. That'll warm my heart even more if I see more people that haven't typically been part of that donating structure before. I love humanity.
And I think that there's people that will get involved this year. For sure. I think they will because they understand the need is real, and we just talked about it.
Specifically in the domestic violence shelter right now.
Yes.
We've taken a financial hit on the sheltering side because we're doing what's right. When the pandemic broke out, we housed everybody in the shelter. We didn't put them in a hotel. There's a lot of homeless shelters doing that, putting them in hotels. We put them in a legit apartment with a lease, and that financially hurt us, but it was the right thing to do. It was a safe thing to do. So there's need all over our organization. We're going to be as responsible and accountable for that money as we can. I have a CPA on staff that can tell you exactly where your money went, give you donation letters. It's important to note that your donations are still tax deductible, even though with the Trump's new tax plan, you have to double everything to get that write-off. The state side, you still get that tax write-off on the state side.
Fantastic. And again, I love that if you're watching, that Scott can take that donation from you and get it matched. So whether it is $25, $50, $100, $150, $500, could you turn that $500 into $1,000? It sounds like the answer is yes.
Yeah, every grant that we write, well, I'd say most of the grants we write, because I don't want to say something completely incorrect, they have a matching requirement.
It's awesome.
So we take that money that you give us and say, here's that match money, and double your money, sometimes triple your money.
Wow.
So
it almost sounds too good to be true, but it's
a wise business investment, and you're investing not just in MCSA, you're investing in your community. We are part of your community. I believe we're a good part of your community. I know we're a good part of your community. So please help us out if you're so inclined.
Thank you for being here. The fireworks tent is open through July 5th. In the parking lot, right outside. Every purchase supports MCSA. Scott Dahlke is the guy at the top. He's the boss. and he knows what's going on in the ins and outs and the inner workings, and now is the time to get involved, and I appreciate you being here. Thank you very much, sir.
Tony, you're always a good friend, man.
Good to see you. This thing is awesome, by the way. Killer Kong could be yours. Just wait until Friday or Saturday to light them off, because we don't want somebody lighting off a bottle rocket to be the reason that the city of Muscatine looks at the ordinance. You know what I mean? Like, we all want to be able to enjoy them. But for the person last night in my neighborhood again that's like, shh, doing it, it's like, can you just wait? I get it.
If you stockpile it all, imagine the show you can have.
Holy smokes.
And then think of who you can invite to it. Like, is your kid part of a baseball team?
Yeah.
Invite the baseball team. You know,
and the best thing about fireworks,
teams.
you could social distance. You got the neighborhood. You have
you
somebody
can totally social distance with fireworks.
That's got the lighter, and you just kind of hang out over here. And you should never get too close, anyways.
And so,
right?
And I don't condone the fireworks, but if you're going to do it safely,
yes.
and let other people enjoy with you. You know,
yeah.
we've had to socially distance, and I'm all about socialization for people's mental health needs. It's hard sometimes for people to socialize. And we haven't been able to because of the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
So now is an easy opportunity to just get people together.
Yeah. And just be careful, because I feel like every firework I've ever lit in my life, I'm always like, I want it to get the first time, because then I'm going to get away. I'm not the guy
like what
that's
you said last year. You bring a little baby pool full of water out.
I do. That's my little pro tip, the baby pool full of water, because I'm always paranoid about something. So say I have the 1776 and it just got done and it's a little smoky. I would then pick it up and drop it in a baby pool full of water, because then I know that
that was a good idea. I've brought
done.
5-gallon buckets of water out there, and I'll make sure the kids dunk them in the water, because I don't want to get my hands all nasty like that. But
because I think about, like, and then it's weird, like, throwing away fireworks. You know, like, has that one gone off for sure? So if you soak it, then let it dry, then throw it out, you're pretty safe. Because I'm, like, worried about our people that are working, like, on, you know, for, like, the city of Muscatine picking up garbage. Like, I don't want them to pick up my garbage and then my garbage can explodes. Like, that's not cool. You know what I mean? I'm worried about that stuff. So yes, we should maybe next year we'll sell baby pools out there.
There you go.
There's a good idea. There's a $1 million idea right there.
$1 million idea.
All right, we'll go to the CBI Bank and Trust aisle cam, get out to the fireworks tent, or just write that check, bring that bag of gold coins, whatever the case may be. MCSA can use it, and we'll put it to good use to do what they do for this community, which is just, gosh, it's so many services. It's unbelievable. If you haven't been to MCSA, you really owe it to yourself to stop by and check it out. And at the very least, get some fireworks, because every purchase you make supports MCSA, every single purchase out there. And as I said, if you hate fireworks, then put your money where your mouth is and make a donation, because they need it. And they will help you out. Thanks, Scott. Appreciate it, man. All right, and we have got just so many fireworks on the set here. It's absolutely fantastic. I want to mention a couple of things before we start talking about fireworks. Aisles Online $10 off coupon. So I had this on my notes at the start of the show, but then I kind of skipped it. So today is the last day. I keep bumping the microphone. I'm sorry, everybody. If you spend $150 and use the promo code SAVEMuscatine, you can take $10 off that total on an Aisles Online order that you could pick up today. And here's what I know. We still have same-day orders available for today, June 29th. So enter the promo code, save $10, and then pull into the parking lot. You check in. The next thing you know, you get a text that says pull up, and they're loading you up. They are loading your car with your groceries. I use it at least once or twice a week. My wife and I will put in an order. I work here. I'll get off, jump in line, get my stuff. It's great. So save Muscatine today, last day to save 10% off a $150 order. And then, as I mentioned, just to drive home the point that there is same-day groceries, I'm going to pull up the app on my phone and just make sure, because unless we're just overwhelmingly busy, we probably do have same-day availability. So you download the Aisles Online app, or you go to Hy-Vee.com/grocery. You hit that $30 minimum, and there is no cost for pickup. I'm looking at this right now on my phone, and there are slots available. I could get my groceries right now as early as noon if I ordered by 10 a.m. So I'm talking to you right now. It's 17 minutes after 9 o'clock in the morning. Same-day grocery ordering available. Save $10 with that promo code SAVEMuscatine. And here's the thing, again, about the weather this week. It's going to be hot. It's going to be humid. The heat index is going to be up there. If you don't want to worry about, getting out of the house too much, shop online, get into your air-conditioned car. Come here, let our team do your shopping, load you up, and you're on your way. Unless you love the heat, which I don't know how many people love. Like, oh, I love humidity. Nobody ever says that, right? That's just not the case. And then I'll just say this about the fuel saver. I pulled the report this morning. So, and I'm getting the graphic updated. So from June 1st to June 28th, yesterday, Hy-Vee customers at this store alone have saved $18,000 in gas. $18,093 in gas in 28 days. That's fantastic. So if you have the fuel saver, I used mine this weekend. It was great. You're not alone. $18,000. That's what's been redeemed, right? So make sure you keep an eye on the fuel saver so you don't, it's good for a certain amount of days. I don't want you to leave money on the fuel saver, right? So make sure you redeem it. Go to a place like Hy-Vee Gas. Hello, come on in. Go to Hy-Vee Gas and save $18,093 since June 1st. That's a lot of money. So without a shadow of a doubt, we'll break the $20,000 mark for people with the fuel saver between today and tomorrow. That's awesome. All right, today is National Camera Day. So if you are a fan of photography, you've got a nice camera perhaps. Cameras being used on this show right now, obviously. Maybe you just use your phone. Your phone is your camera for a lot of us. I already mentioned it's Waffle Iron Day. We've got the waffle iron over there, and it is Almond Butter Crunch Day. So we do have some almond flour. Look at that. I'm very familiar with the almond flour, of course. You can make almond pancakes, everybody. A low-carb alternative, right? So that's Bob's Red Mill superfine natural almond flour available in the health market right here. It's a different consistency, but I'm telling you, if you're looking for that low-carb option, you can do a lot with the almond flour, right? And the recipe that they have a recipe right on the back for almond pancakes. That's really cool. So that's Bob's Red Mill. I want to show you. Look at the recipe, almond pancakes, all right? And then look at Bob. Look at Bob. Bob's a pretty sharp-dressed guy, right? Look at that. Hey, I'm Bob Moore with Bob's Red Mill. Look at that guy. Like, that dude's probably got like a sweet Cadillac, right? What do you think he's driving? Gluten-free as well. Like, look at Bob. Bob's styling. Bob's just cruising, man. He's got it. He's got a lot of good products in the health market. And don't forget, Wellness Wednesday, this would be 10% off, just like everything in the health market. There's a shameless plug for you. All right, again, today, the 29th, listen, the Make My Monday deal, 10% off everything in the bakery, is an awesome opportunity for you to save some money, right? So you come in the store, we've got a paper Hy-Vee bag with that flyer on the screen stapled to it. Fill it up, save 10% off. Maybe you're just going to get a bunch of buns because you're going to grill this weekend for the 4th of July, and you're like, I got to get the best buns. Brat buns, hamburger buns, hot dog buns, or maybe it's just bread or bagels, or you just want to fill it with donuts or cookies or cupcakes, scotcheroos, brownies, whatever the case may be. You don't have to put a cake in there, but if you're picking up a cake, just say, hey, look, I got this flyer. They'll take 10% off. So that's awesome. That's today only. It's Make My Monday, June 29th, right here. Let's go with the 4th of July ad. I think we'll go there, and then we're going to mention a couple of things, and we'll get out of here. So on the back page of the newspaper this week, 4th of July ad, open for business. Both this store and Hy-Vee Main Street, open. Normal hours, 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. for this store specifically, right? And ideas for the holidays. You can see the different trays, and then how about some good deals right there? Now, those prices, keep in mind, are good July 1st through the 7th, so just note that. But we're ready to go. We're looking forward to a busy week. And then how about a teaser for next week? Big old truckload sale coming in hot. Yep, 2 stores, 5 trucks. Truckload sale. This will be the 3rd one we've done at this store. Certainly Hy-Vee Main Street has done truckload sales over the last several years. We're talking about 3 trucks in our parking lot, 1 with meat, 1 full of grocery products, and then 1 with just wine and spirits, because that's the way it should be, a truck full of booze out there. So that's going to be next week. That's a little sneak peek for you, and we look forward to that. It's just so weird to think that, like, Fireworks tent will be gone next week. You know, like, we'll really be kind of like away from any holidays. There's like that lull, right? It's like a little July lull in the action. We kind of go from one thing to another. So enjoy this week while it lasts, that's for sure. The garden center, yeah, so we still have some plants and some iron decorations. All are 25% off. Now, keep in mind the garden center is pretty much shut down. It is shut down. But anything that we have left is in front of the store, right? It's right out in front. You can't miss it. And it's all 25% off. It'll probably even go less than that. So just stay tuned for that and come save. We talked to Scott Dahlke already, but I just want to remind you, MCSA fireworks tent, you know, could they still use volunteer? I guess that's the only question I didn't ask Scott. Do you still need volunteers? I'm assuming they'll take the help at the fireworks tent. I know it's going to be hot, but boy, just think about that. You give them 2 hours of your time, and you can have fun with it. So that's going on through July 5th. Contact Marie Frankie, mfrankie at mcsaiowa.org, or send the MCSA Facebook page a message if you want to volunteer. They'll get you connected with the crew. Hot week. Maybe you need sandals, DSW shoes and sandals. I need to see what we have left. I haven't checked it out in a while. But here's what I know, 60% off, okay? 60% off. This is it. If you see your size in a sandal and you've been keeping your eye on it, I would buy it, because when it's gone, it's gone. And I don't know how much longer they're going to be here, right? Because they are selling well. That being said, I will check out the display this morning, and we'll get some updated pictures out online. But DSW at Hy-Vee, 60% off. Designer Shoe Warehouse, so a lot of high-quality stuff at really low prices, so you can't really beat that. Okay, so we have 2 days left in June. We'll show you these June food court deals, and then we'll get out of here. So if you're looking for ideas on where to eat for lunch or dinner or breakfast today or tomorrow, 2 more days in June, because these will change on Wednesday with the 1st of July. So today's deals are on there. You can see the BOGO for the lunch in the Market Grill Express. Hot turkey sandwich, tomorrow, egg roll special, tenderloins, pizza deal, and that much more. Okay. So I'm looking around to make sure I've covered everything that I want to. Yeah, I mean, we've got fireworks, that's for sure. We've got some big fireworks on the set. The Salute the Troops, the moonshot, the stretching the limit behind me on the bar looks good. So we're ready to go with the 4th of July on Saturday. Yeah, I mean, listen, it's different this year and everything that's been canceled. Now, I say that, and it does seem by all accounts that the folks in Fruitland are full steam ahead. Fruitland is doing like a 4th of July parade. It seems like they're doing a fireworks show. I know I saw pictures on Facebook yesterday. Looks like L&M had their graduation ceremony yesterday outdoors, and by all accounts, that went well. And the plan is, Chad, can we pull up the weather maybe? Because Muscatine High School is supposed to graduate this Thursday, July 2nd. So we want the weather to cooperate for them. So that'll be good, and we wish the class of 2020 well. But it is going to be hot, so it seems like that'll be consistent with the graduation, even though it's a little bit later. The weather should be right there. Oh my gosh, look at that. 92 today. Chance for an afternoon thunderstorm. Tuesday, 82. Chance for a thunderstorm. Wednesday. Oh, come on. Wednesday, shower and a T-storm. Thursday? Is it just like every day they're just going to say that it might rain? Is that the thing? Every day except for the 4th and the 5th. And Friday. A thunderstorm in spots. What does that mean? In spots? Pick your spots. So we'd love to have Thursday the weather hold off for graduation at the high school. That's what I would like to see happen. All right. We're going to get out of here. I want to thank Scott Dahlke with MCSA for joining us. Please support the MCSA fireworks tent. So many good deals. Buy one, get 3 free on that one in particular. They're open through Sunday, July 5th. Thanks to our friends at CBI Bank and Trust. We'll leave you with a shot of their good-looking aisle cam, which is a great breakfast special on it. So thanks to CBI Bank and Trust. Thanks to Toyota Muscatine. What's in the box today was waffle and pancake mix. And our friends at Lutheran Living Senior Campus, I think our friend Naria Strickland with Lutheran Living Senior Campus be here tomorrow is the plan. All right, thanks for watching. Take a look at this breakfast special. It's $5, and come and see us here at your Muscatine Hy-Vee as we get ready for the 4th of July. Goodbye.
For watching Hy-Vee Today with Tony Tone.
Be very, very quiet. We're hunting wabbits.
We'll do it again tomorrow with more local guests from in and around the Muscatine community.
I'm trying to emote for the play that the alumni are putting on in Wilton this Friday, Saturday.
Questions, comments, know a great guest? Reach out to Hy-Vee Today with Tony Tone on Facebook or via email, hyveetoday@gmail.com.